Bret Baier reportedly left his career-defining network without explanation. The longtime Fox News anchor abruptly left at 54, shocking the media. Fox's most important political coverage relied on him for years. Why leave now without warning? Was it internal strain building quietly? Last-minute fallout? Or something far bigger than headlines suggest? Follow us as we uncover what happened behind closed doors and where Bret Baier may go next in a story that's just beginning. Bret Baier covered the 11th of November tragedy and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. He has covered presidential contests and inaugurations for Fox News for decades, becoming a trusted political journalist. His political science degree from DePaul University and local TV launched his career. His rank rose steadily. He got Special Report, his primetime show. He achieved fame and important connections, including a golfing acquaintance with President Donald Trump. However, his journey has been rocky. Baier's rise from South Carolina's WJTV 16 studios to America's leading conservative network was difficult. Despite winning many honors, some moments strained his determination and shook his professional status. Not all of Baier's struggles were public. While navigating cable news' unstable world, some of his worst moments occurred quietly behind the scenes. Pressure was not limited to the newsroom. The Baier family suffered life-threatening health crises and times that could have ended in tragedy at home. The most terrifying incident occurred in 2019 during a family trip to Montana. Their vehicle lost control on snowy roads and toppled over, ruining their nice trip. Panic ensued, but rapid action and community support proved effective. Their automobile flipped on the ice road, returning from a skiing trip, leaving them stranded. After skiing at the Yellowstone Club with his family over the weekend, he was in a rollover crash in Bozeman yesterday. Who knew a stranger on a cold Montana road would provide hope in a moment so close to disaster? Faith, fear, family. Bret Baier later recounted that Zach, a passing driver, helped his family escape their harrowing Montana crash. Zach, first responders, and the Montana Highway Patrol got them to the hospital quickly and safely. Baier thanked his fans, saying that every day is a blessing and that occasions like these highlight family. Instead of sadness, it showed how much generosity and courage exist in everyday people. It was amazing that the Baier family was freed from the hospital the same day and received rapid help. Megyn Kelly, Ainsley Earhart, and Stephen Colbert, who was slated to interview Baier, sent their best wishes. Bret returned to air one day later, calmly hosting a special program and thanking viewers for their thoughts and support. He and his wife Amy were grateful to survive as a family. However, the pair had already fought harder. Soon after their son Paul was born in 2007, doctors delivered dreadful news. 5 congenital cardiac abnormalities required many open heart procedures to save the baby. Parenthood rapidly became terrifying and heartbreaking. Bret later termed the moment life-changing, explaining how the doctors said their son wouldn't survive without emergency surgery. Paul had 2 surgeries before his first birthday and many more over the years, testing the family's strength. While discussing his book, Special Heart, a journey of faith, hope, courage, and love, Baier had a moving conversation with his kid, who asked why he had to endure so much. He told Paul with honesty and optimism that God had a plan and that he was passing every test with grace. Faith, family, and fortitude have impacted Baier's life on and off screen, as shown by countless moments. Bret spoke to Paul with the same resilience he had seen in his father, whose bravery and sacrifices had defined his life. How did faith and family help Bret overcome one of his biggest losses? Lost, scarred, and stumbled. Bret Baier broke terrible news on Instagram in 2020. A protracted fight with cancer killed his father, Bill. Baier wrote with a moving photo that he, Amy, and their sons said goodbye days before Bill died. Despite the sadness, viewed his father's sudden death as a mercy. A strong love, respect, and years of shared wisdom bound father and son. Bret's tale always included respect. His father's strength was highly praised in past interviews. He was 9 when Bill sat him down and explained they were moving from New Jersey to Atlanta for employment. He was devastated, but his father's words lingered. Even with hard changes, success meant ascending the ladder. Baier carried that drive into adulthood and wanted to pass it on to his children. Life presented new challenges. A big aneurysm near Paul's heart was identified at a routine checkup in 2024, which may have worsened. 5th open heart surgery in 16 years for Paul. Bret had to break the news, and while his son was brave, it crushed him. Watching Paul leave after another 10-hour surgery shook the newsman. After a successful surgery, Paul returned home 5 days later. After that relief, Baier was criticized for a controversial interview with Kamala Harris. He was criticized for interrupting and questioning too aggressively. Instant reaction. From liberal circles, where he was seen as more performance-oriented, another controversy arrived while the Harris interview criticism was still fresh. How would viewers react if he sought to influence one of the most important election calls if they already doubted his approach? Heat, headlines, and retrospect. Bret Baier's image suffered again in 2022 with The Divider, a political exposé. President Trump said he asked Fox News to rescind its early projection of Arizona for Joe Biden in 2020. Peter Baker and Susan Glasser claimed that Baier cared more about Fox's Republican audience than accuracy. The book depicted him as a journalist stuck between revealing the facts and retaining a public unable to accept them. Later, an internal correspondence clarified Baier's position. He informed Fox bosses that Donald Trump's camp was growing upset with the network's coverage. Baier accused the decision desk of stubbornness and urged leadership to reverse Arizona's call and put it back in Trump's column. Even at the expense of believability, his statements indicated that viewer loyalty and political pressure had trumped his journalism. The Daily Beast got Baier and Tucker Carlson's private messages, causing more damage. Baier requested that the network slow its election calls in those texts, agreeing with Carlson that rash judgments could destroy their work. Bret Baier was once considered a fair and unbiased Fox News figure, but leaked messages changed that. His tweets suggested he cared more about pleasing viewers than telling the truth, casting doubt on his journalistic ethics. Baier had been in trouble before. After Gretchen Carlson accused Roger Ailes of harassment in 2016, he was criticized for defending him. He was key to the scandal by defending Ailes. Baier may have prioritized his boss over the facts, which is problematic for a journalist. He escaped the moral trap how? In plain sight, ignored. Baier tearfully recounted on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert how Roger Ailes supported him as his son faced major health issues. He was among the first. "My son had open heart surgery." He said Ailes was kind, caring, and loyal, and that genuine kindness was his proof. As additional women, including Megyn Kelly, made similar charges,